Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to episode, I guess it's number 61 of the Officiating Program Zoomcast. Tonight we're going to talk about the mentor program and the mentor mission, and we appreciate you joining us again. It's obviously a very important topic for us and something that that we're really trying to gain some momentum on throughout USA Hockey in an effort to create a more positive environment for our younger and our newer officials. For those who may not be familiar, I'm Matt Leaf. I'm the director of the Officiating Education Program, and I'll be your moderator tonight. Joining me tonight is our referee in chief for the state of Washington, Annette Lin, who has 28 years of experience as one of our top female officials, and has recently stepped up and taken on the volunteer role as the state referee in chief for Washington. So Annette, thank you for joining us tonight. And then Pat, also known as Duffy Dyer, originally from the Duluth, Minnesota area, still lives up there during the summertime, but is down in the Fort Myers area during the cooler months, so to speak. Duffy brings 40 plus years of experience as an on-ice official and close to 30 years of experience as a administrator, instructor, state referee in chief for Wisconsin, been on their board of directors and a variety of different other roles within the USA Hockey Officiating Program. So very much appreciate Duffy and Annette joining us, and we look forward to spending the next 57 minutes with you tonight. As always, I'm going to launch a poll here. One of the things I always like to do is gather some information from our attendees and give us some things to maybe talk about. Just as a reminder, if you do have a question throughout the evening or the session, please feel free to use the Q&A section or that function on Zoom, and we'll be monitoring those and try to answer as many of those questions throughout the course of the night. So let's take a couple of minutes here. I'm going to launch the poll. And when you get a chance, I think there's 5 questions. Go ahead and answer all 5. Actually, one of the questions even asks you to enter in some information in the Q&A or the chat section. So we'll give you plenty of time here to go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this up, and we shall take a look at the results. Okay, question number 1. Are new officials assigned to a mentor in your local area? And looks like we have 56% yes, 38% no, and 6% you're not exactly sure. So I would say actually that number is up slightly from when we asked a similar question last year. So I think we hopefully are trending in the right direction here. Question number 2, does your local area utilize a shadow program to work with new officials when they are first assigned? We have a 75% yes here, and then split between not sure and no. That is definitely an increase over last year when we asked a similar question. So definitely appreciate the fact that we're trending in the right direction there. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that here with our panelists here in a few minutes. Question number 3, in your opinion, who and or what has the greatest influence on the success of a new official and their ability to have a positive and rewarding experience? Looks like split here a little bit, with 50% think that all of the particular people play an important role, equal, and then it is split a little bit between the mentors, the partners that they work with, and also the local assigner that has that impact. So the bottom line is they all play a role, and I think we're all in agreement, and we can just kind of sort of divvy it up in terms of just how big of a percentage of the role that they do play. But I'm very encouraged that we recognize that they all play an important role, including the seminar and the seminar instructors. Although once they get pass them on after their 6 hours together, they oftentimes don't have a whole lot of communication with the individual official at that point. question number 4, were you mentored when you first started as an on-ice official? And looks like about a third said yes, and 2/3 roughly said no. And we have one non-official with us tonight. Thank you for joining us, and for taking the time to take a look at what's going on the officiating side of things for a change. And then finally, question number 5, have you ever mentored a new official? Looks like a little bit more than 56% yes and 44% no. And then one of the things that we asked is that if the answer to that question was yes, if you could please provide a brief description of what you found to be rewarding for you as a mentor from that experience, and then basically throw that into the chat or throw that into the question Q&A function. So bottom line is looks like that may be trending a little bit higher than it was what it was last year as well. So very much appreciate that part. Looking at a couple of the comments real quick. First one, Josh indicated, I haven't mentored yet because he's a new official. Welcome to the team, Josh. And most importantly, he is currently being mentored. So that's a great thing. And hopefully that is becoming a positive experience for you and made your transition into the officiating world a little bit more positive. And a couple more, on-ice experience is the best way to learn mechanics, position, and game management. So when you mentor, John Pohl says that they do have fun and they keep on coming back. So very much appreciate that as well in terms of some of that feedback. So with that being said, I'm going to start with a couple of questions for our panelists here. And this is to both of you, and I guess we'll do ladies first, Annette. But you started your officiating career when you were relatively young. Based on that poll question number 3, who or what was the biggest contributing factor to the success that you have had when you first started, and why are you still here today?
I don't know why I keep coming back. No, I was very fortunate that my family actually officiated. So my younger sister, and because my sister and I were officiating, my dad was like, hey, I want to join this party too. And so we had each other to kind of lean on and rely on. So that's been that was really helpful. So in a way, we kind of helped each other and kind of mentored each other. But then also, just as my skills got better, there were other people along the way that stepped in to really encourage and help foster new skills along the way. So not only for the new official, but also for the official that's growing into the next level. It really mattered that there were other people behind me supporting me along the way.
Okay, fantastic. Duffy, what about you? Same question.
Same question. Believe it or not, I remember the name of my first mentor, a gentleman by the name of George Walker. He was actually my dad's boss. He recruited me into officiating. He worked games with me, and he kind of kept tabs on me, sometimes personally and sometimes I think through my dad in the work environment. But all through my high school years, he was there for me. And when I went off to college, he was kind enough to pass me off to some folks he knew. And so he was there, probably for 4 years, every step of the way, which made my job as a new official very easy and, more importantly, very much fun. And I've stuck with it ever since because it's fun.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Duffy. And just a couple of more comments here from Mike. Mentored 30 plus new officials, and as an assigner, I always try to have an on-ice shadow with the new official for their first game. And his experience is that the retention rate is quite a bit higher with those officials because they get off to a good start and they can only grow from there. So again, it's creating that positive experience. And our good friend Thor Nelson from North Dakota, seeing the confidence a newer official has when they have a mentor starting out makes it all worthwhile. I see a greater retention rate when they have that support system. So again, I think I think everyone that's on this session obviously shares the same type of experience and same types of passion for what we do. So we very much appreciate that. And I guess our challenge is to take the 17 that are here tonight and somehow multiply that by about 1,000 so we can get everyone else on board in regards to creating that positive environment and being a real good start for our younger and newer officials. I'm going to go into a quick short presentation here and share my screen. So bear with me for a second. Okay, so once again, just going to real quickly go through some of the numbers and share the reasoning as to why it is an important thing for us. Obviously, our past history, and this has been pretty consistent over the years, is we lose 50% of our brand new officials who do not return for their second season. However, if we can somehow keep them around to their third year, is that retention success rate goes up to about 90%. And again, in order to grow our officiating ranks and have a greater percentage of our officials gain the experience, we need them out there working games, and more importantly, we need them coming back to be a part of the program. So one of the things, and there's a variety of other things, I think most of the people here are probably aware of the task force that USA Hockey has appointed last November. They were one of the earlier sessions this season. To give up a quick summary, they're in the process of finalizing their recommendations, and they're going to be presenting to our board of directors and our general membership at the winter meeting in January. And I think there's going to be a lot of initiatives that are going to come out that are going to be very positive and help us to accomplish some of these things. But with that being said, we still need to make sure that we're doing our job on the officiating family. And part of that is emphasizing the mentor relationship and getting more people involved. So it is similar to a big brother sister program. We're looking for officials with 5 years or more of experience, and they can serve in that role. And they're really going to be, we'd like them to be introduced to the new official after the seminar that they attend, so they can help them with the rest of the registration process. Maybe they'll sit down and help them with the exam. They'll contact the assigner and let them know that they're ready to go when the time comes, and hopefully is around to help them get through their first few games as an official and gain that confidence and gain that know that they have that support to be successful. The expectations of the mentors, I think everyone is pretty clear on that. And a lot of things that they're doing, and hopefully it becomes a long-term relationship. It's not something that just lasts until they work through their first few games. It's something that builds throughout the course of the season. That mentor is a resource for that newer official, whether they have a bad game and they want to talk about some things, or whether they have a good game and they just want to let someone know how much fun they had, and to really work with them throughout the course of that season. And then from the new official standpoint, they have to be open-minded to let them trust their mentor to be someone that's going to help them guide themselves through this process. We know it's not easy. We know it's not a simple process or simple thing to be an official or to even become an official. But if they take their role seriously and they allow that support network to build, hopefully their experience and their environment is going to be a more positive one, and it's going to want them to come back and develop that same passion that we have. So those are some of the expectations of both the mentor and the new official. Some of the results is, again, we're striving to get an improved registration completion rates with brand new officials, which ultimately more officials are eligible then to work games. Improve the opportunities with new officials to work with assigners and have the opportunity to get on the ice. We still have a large percentage of brand new officials who never get the opportunity to step on the ice. They're completely registered. They're ready to go. And I understand, and yes, we understand that they may have limited availability, but we still have assigners that aren't going the extra mile to make sure that they get them out in a situation where they can succeed. Improve that environment and that atmosphere for the new official. Help us change the culture which the task force is also trying to accomplish, and ultimately improve the retention rates, so we can grow our program and more importantly, grow our program with more experienced officials who have a passion and have a love for what we're doing. We've also talked about the shadow program, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but here's an opportunity where we send an experienced official or an officiating coach out on the ice with one or two or even three new officials potentially, and they help them through a shadow experience where they kind of they're around their support. They help them out with positioning. They give them some pointers and do a whole bunch of things to help make that scary first moment for an official to be a real positive one. And the great thing about this is also very well received in most cases by the clubs, the youth teams, because they see that we're working just as hard as they are in terms of giving the opportunities to officials to develop their skills and to be able to go out and do the job at a reasonable level when they are set to go on their own. So I just want to share with you some good news for this season so far and some of the progress. I think many of you are aware we made a concerted effort last season to create an awareness with the mentor program. Obviously, the COVID hit us pretty hard 2 years ago, and it's something that we're continuing. But on October 30th of this year, so just a little over a week ago, we surpassed our pre-COVID numbers for the 2019-20 season. So that was the year before COVID hit. And we have already surpassed those numbers of registrations as of October 30th. On November 1st, we surpassed 26,000 officials, and that's the first time we've done that since the 2010-2011 season. And that is a 20% increase over the same date last season. As of November 1st, we had 14,000 officials that completed their registration already, and that's a 25% increase over where we were last year on November 1st. 7,064 level 1 officials that already completed their registration on November 1st, compared to basically a little over 4,100 last year on that same date. That's a 69.5% increase on new officials. And this results in roughly about 6,500 more officials that are eligible to work games on November 1st this year compared to last year, if you take into the previous season's registration and the fact that their current crest does not expire till November 30th. So the bottom line is those are all extremely positive, and it's still very early. Obviously, we still have a couple of months to go here, but the early returns suggest that we have roughly a 58% retention rate on last season's completely registered brand new officials. Now, there may be a variety of things that come into play that have caused that, okay? But the bottom line, and we don't necessarily know that we can put a finger on any one thing, but the bottom line is they are extremely positive numbers. It has us feeling like there is a little bit of hope, and that we can turn this corner. And if we can maintain that 58 to 60 to 65% retention rate from last season, whatever that reason was, we need to keep on doing it, because we've really struggled to get above 50% for a long time here. So with that, I'm going to ask Duffy here. You're actively involved still in Wisconsin. Those early returns are pretty promising. Are you seeing the same type of response in Wisconsin, and what do you attribute the results to?
Yeah, Matt, I am seeing the response. Our level 1 registrations are up about 30%. Our retention rate, which I've been calculating since 2017, last year was just shy of 40%. As of yesterday, it's 56% this year. So that's a tremendous increase for us, because we were hanging in that 35 to 40% all the way back to 2017. what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing in my role as an education coordinator is a shift in the emails, and we are getting what I would call a lot of informal mentoring right now, whether it's from a scheduler, whether it's from senior officials, whether it's from family members that are taking an interest in these new and I'm going to say younger officials to account for the returning level twos, taking an interest, guiding them through the process. I'm seeing so many more process questions this year versus something like, how do I get to a seminar? Things like, okay, we did this, now I have to do my online modules, correct? And they're trying to make sure they guide these people correctly through the process so they can get them on the ice. And it's been a very nice, refreshing shift in the work that I'm doing.
Very good, very good. And Annette, real quick from Washington State, what's your numbers looking like?
So we are up quite a bit in the brand new official department. Unfortunately, it's our experienced officials that we really lost our numbers in. And so trying to find that balance between helping these new officials get to the next, to get on the ice, to get help while they're on the ice, and then still getting those upper level games covered. We're finding it's a very fine line that we're walking right now here in Washington State.
Okay, thank you for that. And I guess I'm going to come right back to Annette here. And we talk about that new official and especially a younger official, because you were a young lady who started officiating at a very young age, at a time when it was not common to have female officials around at all. And I know that you had some mentors or you had some people in your area that helped you, but that wasn't always the case. But what do you remember as being your biggest fear when you first stepped on the ice? And how did you overcome that fear? And at what point did you feel more comfortable as an official?
So I know I vaguely remember that I was very confused. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, I'm out here and I don't know what I'm doing. Like the puck went that way. Okay, I'll go that way. So I know my first few partners that I had, they pretty much did everything. They would tell me where to go, what to do, stand here, stand there. And I was like, okay, sure, I can do that. But then over time, as repetition came in and as people started giving me more tips and tricks and pointers, hey, you're supposed to be here during this, or you're supposed to signal this way, it started to become second nature and it started to get easier. And then there was that one game where I realized they don't get to yell at me anymore. And I took good care of business. And I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun. I like being able to be out here in a game that I love and still participate, but have like the best seat on the ice to interact with the players and the coaches. And I think it took a couple of years before things started to click. But once it started to click, things started to evolve even more. And so I know for some people it clicks right away. And for others of us, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of coaching to get us where we need to be.
Okay, thanks, Annette. And I'll start with you here, Duffy. And this is actually one of the questions coming from one of the audience with Mark. He says mentored and shadowed young officials in a non-structured program, but he'd like to know what avenues others have used to make mentor programs successful. So I'm guessing, Duffy, if you can give us a little bit of insight in terms of what's been taking place in your area, what's been the challenges, what are the types of things that have gone well, and some of the things that maybe haven't gone well?
The biggest challenge that I've heard with mentoring programs is everybody seems to think they have to be so formal, which translates into a lot of time and perhaps more time than people want to give. We had in the Green Bay area for years a program called the Zebra Cup, where it was a kind of a weekend squirt tournament and combination shadow program. everybody loved it. The tournament expanded so much that the officials and the mentors just ran out of gas. It died because of COVID. The good news is that it's being reinvigorated now down in the Appleton area, about 30 miles south of Green Bay. So we'll see more on that. But what I'm really hearing from this is a shifting of things, and one shift I see as a positive. More and more local associations are putting their new officials out for in-house scrimmages and maybe tryouts at the U10 level, and actually creating a non-threatening game experience before these officials are ever assigned to their first, what's called a real game between, town A and town B. And the local associations are loving it because, again, as you said earlier, Matt, they're seeing we're involved. The coaching side is loving it because they get to see how these players trying out are actually going to react with some structured rules. Again, maybe not full game. So that's a little shift that I'm seeing in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know that one of the things we've talked about nationally too is about promoting the whole concept of these, jamborees, however you want to call them, where you work with the local youth hockey club and get 3 or 4 squirt games assigned back to back, or preseason squirt games or peewee games, whatever they might be, and use that really as an opportunity to get some newer officials, or in some cases, if it's a little bit higher level, maybe it's peewees, getting some advancing officials their second season, whether experienced in the 3 official system or some other mechanism to just get out there in a coaching, non-threatening type environment to get some practice in. Because again, everyone knows here that the unique thing about the official is our practice is the games. We don't have the opportunity to practice 3 times a week or 10 times before we go out and work our first game. So whatever we can create in that type of an environment and working with the local clubs is a win-win for everyone. Annette, same kind of sort of the concept to you. What's happening in your area as it relates to mentors, and where have you had some success and where are some struggles?
So we don't have a formal mentoring program, but we have a group of officials that are on the more experienced side. And then we're asked over the course of a weekend where we're available within our own games to kind of step out and shadow a new official. Our scheduler is working really hard to make sure that brand new officials get a shadow on the ice. And what's been great is every time I've gone out and shadowed a brand new official, they say, yeah, I want to come back and do it again. I'm like, do you want to do it by yourself or do you need somebody to come out with you? And again, and they think about it for a little bit. And depending on their experience, they're like, I might want somebody to come again. Or they were like, no, I got this. So the confidence that they imbue right after a game is just amazing, having that shadow experience. I know our local associations kind of have a different, here in Washington State, each have their own level of mentorship that they can offer just based off in numbers that are available, but really trying to put those experienced officials with our newer officials. It's kind of been our goal here in Washington.
Okay, very good. And Duffy, you've kind of sort of alluded to this, and certainly we understand the win-win on the play or on the officiating side of things in getting officials out there in a shadow type environment or a jamboree type environment, that type of thing. You've worked closely with youth hockey clubs and associations and affiliates with those types of things. What's their perception of that, and how does that become a win-win for them?
I think the affiliates are starting to see that the officials are an integral part of the game. I think I've been at this a long time, and for years we were just there and just kind of showed up, and whatever happened. and they now realize we're an integral part of the game. And if they can provide us an opportunity to work on our craft outside of that game practice that you just mentioned, that this is going to pay benefits when we get to the games. And the good association leadership is starting to appreciate that now and be receptive to these types of opportunities. And I've gotten a few emails this fall already from associations saying, hey, what can we do to better promote our officiating? A lot of small towns in Wisconsin, they're spread out. They may not know. And so because my title is education coordinator, it lands in my lap. And so we talk about the very same things we're talking about here tonight, but the interest is there, it's growing. And as you said, the goal is to keep the momentum moving forward.
Okay. And we have a younger, newer official that's with us tonight, Sarah. And I guess her question is how do you, if you're a new official, how do you find out whether you, or how do you get a mentor? How do you go out and find one, or whether you're going to be assigned one or not? Any insight, either one of you?
You know, ask your scheduler. They would be the first person to know. And if they tell you there's not a mentor program, don't be afraid to ask questions. There are senior officials out there that if you simply ask them a question and engage them in a conversation, they will answer you. And if you're young and eager and willing to learn, you will make an impression, and they will be there to help you. It may not always be obvious, but I can guarantee you that they will be there for you.
Yep. And Annette, on the flip side, we have Josh, who admittedly has just started officiating recently, but he's fallen in love. And after a couple of years now, he feels that that he could be a really good ambassador and be someone who could be a mentor. So is there anything restricting him in terms of the 5 year, you have to be around 5 years or anything, or would we welcome Josh taking some people under his wings and having at it?
I would caution taking on extra responsibilities too early in your officiating career. It's better to have a couple of years under your belt to really feel like that you're giving solid information to those that are around you. We don't want to disseminate any information that might lead people down the wrong path. So if you do step up and you take somebody under your wing, make sure you're checking in with other upper level officials to really make sure that you're sharing the right information, because things change all the time. Things could change from one day to the next, and you might not be in the know because people didn't realize that you were helping out with a new official. So just make sure you communicate with others your intentions and kind of what your goals are, and then to accept guidance from those that have been around for a while.
Yeah, I know for sure. And I would just add that look, if you feel you're ready and you're willing to go out there and help that newer official, you know, with the registration process and just be a support network for them, I don't think anyone's going to turn that away, you know, but as Annette said, we need to be a little bit careful in terms of don't exert yourself or don't overextend yourself as well, because we'd like to keep you around, Josh, for at least the next 30 to 40 years and see if you can't be filling Duffy's role in this guy. And that will still be around, but Duffy now will be long gone. And you can fill our role working with Annette on a similar type topic 40 years from now. Annette, again, another question, I guess, geared towards you. And I know that this is also happening in Oregon, based on some information that John just shared with us, shared with everyone on the chat. But you have a little bit of a unique situation in that you have much of the Washington state through the affiliate is cross ice at the 10U level. How has that impacted, I guess, getting new officials on the ice? And what are the benefits that you can see from an officials development standpoint with having that avenue out there for younger and newer officials?
So yes, we're really fortunate here in Washington. Panaha has stepped up and said, we're going to do cross ice 10U. And it's opened up a lot more opportunities. So here we have a brand new group of level ones, and we have a lot of them. And if you think about a 12U game with 3 spots, let's say you're running the 3 official system with them, you have 3 spots, maybe there's 4 of those games this weekend. Now you only can fill 12 officials in. But when you're running a half ice game, you have 2 games going on a sheet, you get 2 officials per game, and you probably have about 6 of these during the weekend because we also have the Kraken now. So everything is soaring as far as numbers go, and especially at the younger age levels. And so now you've got 4 times these 8 slots. So now you're looking at whatever 4 times 8 is, 32 spots instead of the 12 that we were originally only looking at with 12U. So having those extra spots has been a great opportunity to get our new officials opportunities to jump in, because maybe they can only work one of those 4 or 6 games that are available, or 8 games, but at least it gives them an opportunity to say, hey, I want to go out and work. It also puts them in a slightly less stressful environment. We're removing offsides. We remove icing from the category of things that you have to hold in your head that first game. We have now 4-on-4 play. They're learning where to drop the puck, how to drop the puck, setting your players, making sure to follow play up the ice. And it changes so fast. So you've got to practice a lot of going up and down the ice with a partner, and then being able to call a goal, seeing that puck go in the net. You've got to be there. So there's a lot of great opportunities that are given to these officials in this 10U cross ice environment that might not be as straightforward when they're trying to learn a new craft, trying to work a 3 official system when they were only trained for a 2 official system. So as an educator, I think it's great. It's almost like giving the officials layers of how to step into the officiating scene. Over time, you can watch their confidence grow, and some will grow faster, and some are just like, I like 10U. Can I just stay here? And it's great. They love working with the younger kids. They like skating, the quick up and down the ice. And then there's some that are like, okay, what's next? And so it gives us a good temperature gauge on where the official is in their development and what their next steps and goals are.
Very good. And would you say it's also, I mean, and maybe you mentioned this, but is it a non-threatening environment for them to be able to work?
Yes, for the most part, we find occasionally, just like any hockey game, there are problems that arise. But most of the coaches are very excited having a younger official. The players are excited to see another young person out on the ice with them instead of seeing someone like me who's been around for a while. They're like, oh, it's an adult, great, another adult telling me what to do. But when they see another kid, they're like, oh, that kid is like me, and I could do what they're doing. And so they're starting to see this trend of, hey, younger kids, they're like me, I can maybe do that one day. And it's starting that conversation early about officials and officiating, because they talk to them. They're like, that looked like fun. Did you have fun? And they're like, yeah. And then that kid is thinking about it, maybe in a few years, I want to be an official. So it's good to start the conversation early.
And did I hear you correctly in that from a development standpoint, there may be some benefit in regards to officials learning some natural movement and anticipation and kind of sort of the agility aspect without being told, hey, you got to stand here, you got to stand here, here's the blue line, here's the face-off spot, goal line and those types of things. But in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of sort of developing a little bit of a referee sense from a staying out of the play and maintaining the sight line without necessarily having a structure to it, which is a big part of what they're trying to accomplish on the player side. Is that correct?
Absolutely. and getting them to really move around play and not be in the middle of it. And the only way to learn is to be part of it. So it's a great opportunity.
So if players can learn from playing shinny, okay, and going out and basically develop some skills simply by just going out and having some fun and just playing some hockey, it's not that far-fetched to think that officials could do that as well, including younger officials at the 8U cross ice, or if you're fortunate enough to have an affiliate that's being progressive to incorporate the 10U cross ice. That's again, that's a win-win for everyone. Okay, Duffy, as we start getting closer here to wrapping up, any other special initiatives or continuing education opportunities that you're aware of that you think would benefit new officials and positively contribute to their success?
I'm hearing a lot of people are conducting off-ice rules sessions, and not necessarily even going through the exam, but at least going through the exam and telling people the answer. They're making people do the exam, or at least do a portion of the exam, and then come and ask questions before they submit it, and looking for common errors or common misconceptions, and addressing them. That's been something that's been very popular, especially in the larger cities in Wisconsin, where they can get a good group together and do that. That's the one thing that I think I've seen in increasing as a way to help the younger officials off the ice.
Okay, and that same question, any other special initiatives that you're aware of that or continuing education type things that that would make our environment for our new officials more positive?
Absolutely. So with us having COVID, a positive that came out of that is Zoom sessions. So coming together online so that multiple people can join all at the same time, and doing the same thing that Duffy was saying, is coming together, asking questions, bringing up situations that might have happened in a game recently, and being able to bring it to a forum of people and talk it through. And then that even makes you a tighter knit community. It gives you a sense of belonging, being able to kind of meet up with other people, even if it's not face to face, but still being able to come together through like a Zoom call, and talking things through on a monthly basis.
Okay, very good. Getting close to wrapping up here. So if there's any other questions, feel free to throw them into the Q&A section. Duffy, going to get real with you here for a second.
Okay.
You're the crafty old veteran. You've been around for 40 plus years. You've pretty much been involved in every single possible aspect of the officiating program for many years. Instructor, you've been involved in instructor training, been involved in summer camps, been involved in everything you could imagine. What stands out to you as to how the people that watch this Zoomcast, the audience, can have a positive impact on a new or younger official, so they ultimately can enjoy the game for as long as you have?
You know, it's something real simple. Just engage these individuals in conversation, in meaningful conversation. You, the participants, will get a lot out of it by talking to these new officials and, hearing their point of view. And they will get a lot out of your experience, whatever level you're at, if you just simply talk to them and engage them in meaningful conversation.
Okay, and over the years, I mean, have you seen? I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyhow. There's a, whether it's a new generation, whether it's a different culture or whatever, but certainly the camaraderie or some of the getting along type things, and some of the things that we used to do as officials when we were younger in terms of meeting up maybe for a soda and a burger after a game from different cities and doing some of those things. Has that changed at all? Has the camaraderie, has the culture changed a little bit in terms of what you and I grew up with, what used to make officiating fun for us?
I don't think that has changed. There's a camaraderie that exists. Maybe some of the mechanisms have changed a little bit, but when you strip away the layers and get down to camaraderie, the brotherhood and sisterhood, is still there. I mean, obviously the folks weren't on the call, but I haven't seen Annette for years, and and talking prior to the start of the call, in about 8 seconds, it was just like old times. So no, it hasn't changed when you get right down to it.
So we just got to keep people around long enough to be able to enjoy that part of it, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Very good. That's great stuff. And Annette, you're not the rookie anymore. Okay, either on or off the ice now. And I know that you've become actively involved in some of the initiatives that are taking place on our women's side of officiating. What are some of the things going on in growing the female official game? And are there any initiatives that would have some crossover appeal that could benefit our audience and what we're trying to accomplish here?
So on the female side, we're really trying to build up numbers, and then of course retention. And so one of the things that we're really focusing on the female side of things is encouraging and inviting people to come join from the women's side, reaching out to those adult teams, reaching out to those female hockey associations and the girls teams that are out there, and trying to encourage them to come in. And then once we get them in, then reaching back out to them and helping them through their first games, helping them to the next steps, and trying to really build this camaraderie of small groups. I was very fortunate to run a all-female seminar this year. It's the first one we've ever done here in the state of Washington, and it was great. We got to hang out, we got to do activities together, we still learned about officiating, we hopped on the ice and did some work around positioning and all that stuff. But it was so cool to come together, and they had great questions. And just to be a small group of individuals that were all coming together because they all wanted to learn how to be officials. And so that's something that we can start thinking about. I know on our adult side, we started doing a little more specialized seminars for them, where there's a little more game. We find a game that's going on and we have them rotate through with somebody behind them, kind of doing the shadow thing before they're even certified as an official, giving them that like try official for a day, kind of how we have try players for a day, and getting them out there and going, yeah, I could do this. And then they finish up their seminar and they get more information about how to become an official. And we've seen a really good retention rate on those adult officials finishing their certification and getting out there on the ice as quick as they can. They move fast.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Annette. That's great stuff. And one more question here from the audience, and it's a fantastic one, and it's something that I can take care of here. Todd is asking, can you describe how the new USA Hockey Officials Development Manager recently hired will benefit us in the field in the coming weeks, months, regarding mentorship, development, et cetera, resources, et cetera, and stuff. Todd, that's a really great question, and I can't begin to tell you how excited we are within the USA Hockey Officiating Program to have someone on board with as much energy and as much enthusiasm and passion as Billy Hancock has, who is our recent hire. Billy started with us a couple of weeks ago, and his primary role is going to be kind of sort of a grassroots outreach. So where he can benefit you, and this is where we're asking our members out in the field to let us know if you have some issues or if you have some things that are going on, whether it be a special event, maybe you have a jamboree scheduled, where you're running a series of officials through the course of a variety of games, or you got some shadowing set up, or you're just trying to initiate some conversations with the youth hockey associations or the rink owners in terms of some of the things, the initiatives that you can do and work together and partner on to become a better partnership and create a better environment and culture for the officials. That's what he's there for. So if you have, he really is going to be an outreach person for us, and we hope to be able to bring some other people on board in similar type positions in the coming seasons. But really going to be an outreach. So if there is an issue, or if there is something special that you have going on, let us know. Drop Billy an email. It's on the website, or BJ or myself, or talk to your district referee in chief and let us know, and we'll do whatever we can to make the arrangement to get, whether it's Billy, whether it's BJ, whether it's myself. But we really want to be a support network, similar to what the ADM regional managers have done on the player development side with the youth clubs. It's a similar type of thing that we're trying to approach on the officiating side. So we just need to know what are the issues that are out there, what's going on, and where we can assist you and provide you with some additional resources. So drop us a note, drop us an email, give us a call, and we'll do what we can to be that support network for you at that local level, and working with the clubs, working with assigners, working with officials associations to follow and implement some best practices for the development and creating a positive culture for our officials. So with that being said, we're coming up to the top of the hour. So going to need to do my obligatory share my screen and talk about the upcoming schedule here. Otherwise, BJ fires me and I won't be able to do this again. But essentially, episode number 62 is coming up in a couple of weeks. Going to talk about health and wellness for the grassroots official. It's a similar type presentation that we've done at our advanced officiating symposium, I believe, and really is something that's it's not the hey, you got to get into the gym for 4 hours a day, or you got to do this or you got to do that, and so forth. But it's more or less a practical approach to helping you feel more comfortable when you lace the skates on and get up out on the ice and doing some of those types of things. I'll be back on December 6th for a plain rule Q&A. We tried one of these last year and it worked really well in terms of being able to answer some of those oddball types of rules questions, or some things that just are creating some confusion or of some officials are just not sure about. So that's December 6th. And then BJ will be back right before Christmas playing Santa Claus with his ever popular You Make the Call with some video examples and those types of things. So please feel free to join us in the upcoming schedule. Don't forget to follow us at usahockey.com, on YouTube, social media, Twitter and Instagram and those types of things. For those of you that are interested, by the end of this week, we will be launching registration for the 2023 Advanced Officiating Symposium. So stay tuned for an email to go out later this week and registration to open for those who haven't been there. We are slated to go on July 28th through the 30th in Columbus, Ohio, and looking forward to being able to put together one of our most popular programs. This most recent one, our third one, once again, we're 3 for 3 with a 97% recommendation that any participant would recommend to their fellow officials that this is a must attend. So look for that to come out here in the next couple of days and open up the early bird registration for that as well. So with that being said, any final comments? Basically, Annette, Duffy, anything else that you guys want to cover, or closing comments for tonight?
I'd just like to thank everybody for attending and gathering some ideas and being willing to take them back to your local area. You know, at the end of the day, USA Hockey is a grassroots organization. And it's people like you that are out here tonight that are going to be the champions for this mentor program. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I second that. It takes a village to make things happen. And so without you, we wouldn't have our village to keep us going strong. So thank you for being here.
Okay, well, again, thank you everyone for your continued commitment and dedication to the USA Hockey and to the officiating program. We do appreciate you joining us this evening and knowing that you also have an opportunity to go back and look at the other Zoomcast on demand. So once again, thank you. Best wishes for a safe and very successful season. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. I'll be back in early December, and most importantly, before that, be safe, have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll see you at the rink soon. Good night, everyone.